Wow, so I just went through the order process for the new MacBook Pro. So finally, they are here, and it's probably something that gets overlooked sometimes in the workflow of a filmmaker, YouTuber, photographer. All those raw photos that you need to process, 4K video, H.265, all these bit rates, and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, you want a machine that is able to chew through all this data that you're putting it through, and especially while on the go. I mean, the world is opening up again, so very excited about the fact that you can bring as much power as what was announced today in the Apple keynote event. So a couple things I did order on my side is the M1 Pro chip, which is in the MacBook Pro 14-inch. So I went with the 14-inch because I want portability, and I do find that 14 is that sweet spot between the 16, which is a bit too big, and the 13, which is too small for me. I'm getting old, so I need a little bit more real estate. I went with the 10-core CPU and 16-core GPU, so this should be more than enough to chew through all the data you throw at it. I did actually upgrade the internal storage from 512 gigabyte to the larger 1 terabyte. I mean, again, there is sometimes that I don't want to put an external hard drive attached to the computer. So I think that with this larger capacity, I can edit files right on there, and it's all SSD drive, so it's super fast. So no need to have something dangling. But I think what I'm most excited about is not even all these new specs about the core GPU and so on and so forth. I knew that the M1 now they call it the M1 Pro, but the M1 chip enhanced would be more than enough to do all the great stuff that I do. I do have a an iMac. This is a 2017, and it runs the Intel chip, of course. It's maxed out with 42 gigabyte of RAM, but I've heard that even the base models with the existing MacBook Pros and the iMac and the iMac Mini are actually way more powerful than a spec'd out MacBook Pro or iMac from a couple of years ago. So, but the thing that I'm most excited about is literally this here, and those are the ports that are back to the Apple ecosystem. They've created so much frustration over the years. I mean, I was a big fan of these this is an old Apple MacBook Air. You remember that one? That's the one that Steve Jobs pulled out of his sleeve. But it had that card reader here. It actually had some USB. Back then it was the USB normal. The MagSafe. The MagSafe is back also on an Apple computer. And this is, all the little details, but also the SD card reader. That's the big thing for me, because I am always putting a card in, downloading my stuff, uploading to my YouTube channel and so on and so forth, or Instagram, or for clients. So again, the fact that it has literally 4 Thunderbolt ports, an SDXC card slot reader, and it got full HDMI output. Can you believe it? This is something that we want on our cameras. I know that Sony came with those full size ports, and Leica has some, and so on and so forth. But now, of course, computers had it for a long time, but Apple decided to remove them for a couple of years. The new FaceTime camera, 1080p HD camera, the keyboard seems to be very efficient, but MagSafe, that for me is a big one. So all that to say, I think that this is a good year for photography or photographers, videographers, if you are in the Apple ecosystem, which I am, as you can see, but because the powerful computers are there that you can take on the road. Also, you have all the ports that you're using day in and day out. You've got probably one of the fastest chip on the planet with the M1, and now it's the M1 Pro and the M1 Max on some other models. And you've got the ecosystem that all works together: Apple Watch, iPhone, and you can drop photos from one to the other on the iMac and so on and so forth. So I think I'm very excited, but I want to know, are you going to upgrade some of your equipment? Are you in the Apple ecosystem, or are you saying, this is not for me, I'm staying with my current stuff? I know I was expecting this launch very, very highly, and now that it's here, again, can't wait for next week. I'll report back. I know this is not a tech/computer channel, but I think, again, sometimes it's overlooked in the photography and the filmmaking world, the tools we use to bring all of this great data that we capture day in and day out, and then we share it to the world. So again, thank you, Apple, for bringing finally the ports back, power back, and also very cool form factor. So I've been Fred Ranger. Be happy, enjoy life, and enjoy your new Apple stuff. Cheers.